Not today, Bubba.
Go get him, Bubba. Love you.
Not today, Bubba. Gordy, can I bother you for a second? Hey folks, Big Game Bob here. Before we get the show started, let me remind you, please, don't try and be a hero at your local barbecue. Keep it easy, stick to technology, what got us here with Meater. Protect your meat today with Meater, the world's first truly wireless leave-in meat thermometer with a water-resistant stainless steel design. Designed with internal and external temperature sensors to ensure perfectly prepared meat for any meal. Don't mess with another man's meat, folks. Okay? If you want to be the barbecue guy, sure, be that guy. Take on the grill, but do it with the Meater. You can get the Meater today at Meater.com. Protect your meat like Big Bob does. Stick this baby in the steak and be prepared for greatness. Not overcooked, not undercooked. Perfectly medium rare, the way steak should be if you got the Meater stick. Enjoy your next barbecue today. All right, folks, coming to you live here. This is indeed the Brilliantly Dumb Show, episode 86. Coming to you early, coming to you often. However you're listening, whyever you're listening, we're just happy you are indeed listening. I'm Big Game Bob coming to you on your local airwaves, folks. We got a doozy today. It's interview day today. And we got a doozy on our hands. We have Steve-O from Jackass joining us. For those of you who don't remember Steve-O, I think most of you will. This guy is a complete, utter lunatic. And to be quite frank, he would be the first one to tell you that. He's always known for doing these just outrageous, ridiculous stunts. Again, big star in Jackass. He did Wild Boys. The good thing we have with Steve-O coming in today, he's got a new special that's out on his website. So he's got that going on. He's got a podcast where he's just reeling in guests left and right. He's a big name out there. So he really gets just about anybody. And the thing with Steve-O is the best thing that I do to prepare for these interviews is to watch whoever the person is in other interviews, in other podcast settings, because it gives you exactly what they're going to be like. Now, Steve-O's been on Howard Stern a couple times. And I can honestly tell you, which makes me so excited about this one coming into it, is that he's never had a bad interview. There is nothing, and I mean nothing, that's off the table. There's nothing that's off limits that you can't talk about. It's whatever you want to talk about. Everything's out there. Everything's on the table. And that's what I like about Steve. He brings it every single interview. So I am really looking forward to having him in. We're going to take you on over to the interview with Steve. A lot going on. By the way, folks, for a little promo here, I just want to let you know, the surfing vlog with Forrest Galante is out now from Animal Planet. He's actually got a big debut coming up on Shark Week. Go ahead and check that out on the YouTube. That is out. We're going to take you on over to Steve-O now. And something that I'm going to ask him and that I've always wanted to ask him is it is truly amazing that this guy is still alive. It really is. If you look at the different stunts that he's done throughout his day to entertain us people, it's just mind-boggling. And I remember when Jackass 2 came out, of course, everybody was into it. I was, 15, 16 around there. I remember I made just a bonehead move of sitting down with my parents and getting them to watch it. And it was just from the opening get-go, I just couldn't believe that I was watching this Jackass movie with them, and I knew they weren't going to hang in there for the full thing. And what finally got them to give, where they said, okay, that's it, we're done. Steve-O's in the middle of the ocean on a boat, and he puts something in his pants to be surrounded by sharks. It was like a piece of meat or something. And he hooks an actual fishing hook through his cheek. And they send him out there on a fishing line in front of all of these sharks. He's just a total nut. And that's what got my parents to finally just get up off the couch and just say, okay, we can't do this anymore. Makes for a hell of a podcast, guys. I can tell you that much, folks. Here he is coming in. This is Steve-O from Jackass. What an absolute treat this is.
Well, thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
I got to tell you, Steve-O, we've had a decent amount of people come on to this show. You're one of the easiest guys to get this show going with. There's not publicists coming on 45 minutes before, say this, say that. I mean, you could be one of the easiest guys to set this up with.
Cool, man. I mean, with that said, I did just hire a publicity firm to help me get this out there. So that's music to my ears. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, really, just smooth sailing over here, Steve-O. We'll get right into it here. You got the new comedy special out, Gnarly, available on steve-o.com. Here's what I want to ask you about, Steve-O, okay? Steve-O's Wild Ride, the podcast. This guest list you're pulling in, it's got a lot of Howard Stern vibes to it. You got John Jones coming on, Tony Hawk, Shaq. I mean, you're just rolling.
Well, thanks, man. I just agonize over trying to get good guests because the podcast space is just so flooded, man. And dude, for years, I always they just hated the question, "Will you do my podcast?" Because every fucking asshole has one, and I made a rule. I said, if I've never heard of the podcast, the answer is no. But I would always break my rule because, like, how many friends do I have who have podcasts? And so there I would sit down for a whole hour to get asked the same fucking questions, and I know no one's even listening. And I was like, and then ultimately I decided I'm gonna get on the bandwagon. Look, you know.
I mean, Jimmy, you would think since you've risked your life to entertain us time after time. It's kind of hard to believe somebody could ever really say no to you after the shit you put yourself through to entertain us.
Well, you'd be surprised, man. You'd be surprised. And hey, dude, it's I think that when you go the booker route, the publicist route, like that's where those people are just, it's just they're no people.
Right.
And so the secret to getting good guests is to find some Achilles heel to attack through,
right?
Like some personal, some personal in, and like with Shaq, for example, I had worked with Shaq in the past. Many years ago, he was on Jackass. I'd met him a couple of times. Always had a good laugh. But I had no way to get a hold of him. And I saw my buddy who he's Ariel Helwani, the UFC MMA reporter. Sure. He had a post. God, I'm just gonna blow this up. But he had a post saying, "Dude, I can't believe I got Shaq, and thanks to this person for setting it." So I was like, "Oh, this person." I just clicked that, and then I was like, "Hey, dude," and that guy made it happen.
I'll tell you who I thought was one of your best guests. I just thought he was awesome. Was Wee Man. I think Wee Man was spectacular. He really was.
I appreciate that. I think so too, man. I really think so too.
And I just, for the first time, had one of his burritos at this Chronic Taco that he ordered. Nice. Those things are unbelievable.
Yeah. Oh my God, he became a real restaurateur off of Jackass 3D. That was in theaters, and they put his restaurant logo across the whole screen in the middle of the movie, and they just had a good laugh with it. Since then, that restaurant has just made babies, and the franchise is over.
Oh, is it
I
good?
Want to say 50 locations, something about like more than 50 locations now, and he's just rolling in it. So his new nickname, we call Wee Man Rich Little. I'm worried about the with the fucking pandemic, man. The restaurants are taking a real hit.
Yeah, but you know what? If you go down to like a Southern California where a lot of this Chronic burritos are, it's almost like they don't really care. I've been inside.
They don't give a fuck.
They could care less. I mean, these surfer guys, they just don't care.
It's unbelievable, man. Like I of course I got the RV, I use it as a podcast studio.
Yeah, sure.
That was my rule. If I'm going to jump on the podcast bandwagon and be the fucking annoying asshole saying, "Will you do my podcast?" Let me at the very least make it convenient for people by having a studio on
Gotta have
wheels
its niche.
that I can bring to the guests just
Sure.
to make it super convenient. Like, hey, hop in. We're recording. Won't waste your time. Where and when is most convenient for you. And so now I've got this RV, and dude, I never knew how much I was going to fucking love it, dude. If I'm not recording a podcast in there, you better believe I am fucking road tripping, dude. And
I
my
have never seen a guy doing a podcast that is so comfortable. I mean, you are just lounging. You got the Zoom going on for a lot. You got it all working.
Hey, dude, I appreciate the shit out of that, man. And so I'm always camping out in my RV. And dude, like, up and down the coast of California, LA is really pretty uptight about the coronavirus.
Yes,
San Diego,
correct.
not at all. Like polar
Could
opposites.
care less.
Right. So I completely agree with what you're saying about the chronic tacos, down there. Yeah, it is. It's fucking.
Steve, I gotta ask you. I want you to take me before even all of this happened. Okay, you go to the University of Miami, which, by the way, let's give credit where credit's due. Not an easy school to get into.
Well, thank you.
How long do you realize this just isn't gonna work out?
Oh my God, it was pretty quick, man. And now I only got into the University of Miami because I applied for early acceptance.
Okay.
It was early acceptance, and the timing of that was critical because I was just on a free fall,
Right.
like once I started just smoking pot and taking acid and getting drunk all the time, like it was just, my shit fell off a cliff.
Nosedive.
So that wouldn't have happened if I didn't do the early acceptance thing. When I got to the University of Miami, the game plan was to become, it was a school of communications, advertising. I felt like from skateboarding, making videos, I was already into editing videos, and I just thought, man, like I'm not that great at skateboarding, but I love making videos, so I'm gonna make TV commercials. That was my deal. But I remember showing up to class the first day, and the teacher was like, hey, if you want to make it in advertising, you're going to have to learn how to fucking kiss ass real quick, work
Yep.
for free, make copy, whatever it takes to get your foot in the door. You got to fucking, and I was like, wait a second, am I going to this fancy fucking college to learn how to kiss ass, work for free, and make coffee? Fuck that. And on top of that, like that was one of the few classes I actually showed up to. I couldn't go to class. And I just failed out so badly, and I dropped out, and I was kicked out of the dorms, and everyone was like, well, what are you going to do now? And I was like, well, I'm going to fucking make videos, like I'm going to become a crazy famous stuntman, like that was my deal. I was
Right.
like, I'm not going to try with the skateboarding because it's too competitive and I'm not that good at it, but I will throw my fucking body in harm's way, and I'll do it like nobody ever has, and I'll become famous, and that'll be a career. Everybody I told that plan to just felt so sorry for me. They were just like, what a tragic fucking loser. And I had this girlfriend who just straight dumped me. She said, I'm looking into my future and I can't see you in it because I want to have things. And I was like, dude, I was so heartbroken that actually it was her. She said, I'm looking at you, not going to class and like failing out. And like, I can't be with that. I want to be somebody. I want to have shit. And so she dumped me. And for me at that time, I was just like, oh, I want to be like this crazy famous stunt guy. But moreover, I wanted her to think I was legitimately going to fucking die.
With that being said, what you end up doing is you double down from this prestigious university and you apply into the Ringling Bros Barnum and Bailey School of Clowns. That's what was going to give your videos the credibility to move forward.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, at the University of Miami, there I am, like hanging off like 12-story balcony. Like there was a 12-story building that I got kicked out of because I fucking climbed up. I was climbing up the radio tower on the roof of the 12-story building. I was filming myself climbing over the balcony and hanging off the railings. Like I would swing out and swing and let go and land on the 11th floor balcony. Yeah, I did that fucking on acid. I was out of my mind. And then I ultimately left the University of Miami. You missed the 3 years of being completely homeless.
Which is then leads it into the clown school?
Right. Like after 3 years of being homeless, I had a used car at this one point that I was living out of. I was just so fucking down on my luck that I honestly aspired to commit suicide with carbon monoxide in the used car, but I couldn't afford to fill the tank.
So bad that I'm laughing at that.
I know, it's all good, dude. I couldn't afford the fucking gasoline to run the engine to kill myself with the carbon monoxide in the car I was living out of. And I was just like, shit, dude. I said I called my sister and I was like, yo, I hit a wall, and she was like, well, I live in Albuquerque, New Mexico. She's living in Albuquerque. She said, I'm kind of lonely. I'd love it if you moved out here with me. So I moved out to Albuquerque and I'm living with my sister, and she regretted that shit so fast.
I bet.
And she was taking a shit at work where she's a reporter for the Albuquerque Journal. She was a newspaper reporter, and she was just legitimately shitting, reading the book of trivia that they just left on top of the toilet. And just a question in the book said, what's the only college that has no tuition? Some shit. And it was like Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Clown College, like, it's very like exclusive to get in, but if you get in, it's free. It's completely free. And my sister was like, oh my God, that's my brother. That's my fucking brother. This will get him out of my fucking house.
What's amazing is you're at this circus flea market. You're going out and you had times where you aren't performing and you're ripped off of cocaine. Doesn't that affect the juggling and all of that good stuff?
I think cocaine's actually pretty popular with professional jugglers.
With clowns?
I mean, jugglers in particular. I remember, like, before I was in the circus, I worked on Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines as a clown. And they would bring in like headlining acts, and like one of these headliners was like juggling like 9 clubs, like he was just a straight professional juggler. He made like $3,000 per 15 minutes of his act. And to me, that was the craziest. This guy was just, and he was like, hey man, like, let's get some blow.
Steve, are you guys in your clown suit before ripping lines of cocaine in the clown?
Well, dude, when I was in the circus I got fired from the cruise ship job. And then now I'm back in with my sister. We're living in South Florida. And she's like, look, hey, if you think you're going to be fucking like unemployed and fucking broke and eating all the food and messing up the house, you're out of your mind.
Right.
Yeah. And she says, you're out of your mind. So she says, there's a circus down in this flea market. You're going to go down there. You're going to fucking tell them you're a clown. So I went down there and I got hired. And this place was classic, man. It's to date, it's the world's largest drive-in movie theater with, I want to say, like fucking 14 screens. It's massive. It's like some record for the biggest flea market. It's also an amusement park, and they had a circus there with 3 elephants, a tiger. They've since gotten shut down for animal abuse, so there's no longer a circus there. But I worked in that circus, and we did. The only day we didn't do a show was Monday, but we had shows. We had 1 show Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then we had 2 shows on Friday, and we had 3 shows on Sunday and 3 shows on Saturday and Sunday.
A lot of
So whatever
cocaine, Steve-O.
well, yeah, dude, I went through full weekends from like I went through like 2 shows Friday, 3 shows Saturday, 3 on Sunday. So that's 8 show weekend. I think I did 10 shows. I don't know. I bet, but now my nose, it wasn't like with the string, the clown nose. We glue on our fucking clown nose with rubber cement. You know, it's like rubber cement, and so like it's not going anywhere. But like I'm in the back, like peeling off like just one side of the nose, and like like doing my blow, and then put it back on, and like dude, days on end, and you know, with all the grease paint, like I don't know that anybody ever even knew that I was on cocaine so bad.
Now, what's amazing is if you fast forward, okay, and you always have this obsession with being in front of the camera. You want to be famous
sure.
so bad. That's your goal. You fast forward to Jeff Tremaine reaching out to you about Jackass.
Well, actually, that's a rewind. I was already. I was in Jeff Tremaine's magazine, Big Brother, which was this filthy skateboard magazine, which was published by pornographer Larry Flint, and they were making videos. I was already doing all this stuff for them, and their videos were wildly popular because it was such fucked up stuff. But you know, there's a big cult following for this Larry Flint skateboard magazine video series, and Jeff Tremaine, he was like, he grew up with Spike Jonze, like
Right.
the movie director, and at one point in the 90s, Jeff Tremaine reached out to Spike Jonze, and he was like, look, dude, my Big Brother's skateboarding videos are like taking off with like this crazy, you know, popularity.
Right.
But he said, I know for a fact that nobody gives a fuck about the actual skateboarding. I'd say we cut out all the skateboarding and just the mayhem. Let's put that all together and make it a show. And it was that was it.
Now,
So I shot for the pilot for Jackass after I got fired from cruise ships, and before the circus was when I did the filming. So thank God I got fired from the cruise ships. Or I would have
Absolutely.
missed the boat.
You know what? And
Yeah.
when Jackass does pop off, do you finally get that fulfillment that you wanted for so long, or was it hard for you to kind of take that in because it was happening so fast?
I mean, that's like asking a crackhead when you finally get that like actual $1,000, you know, when you're not going from like $10 to $10, but you actually come into $1,000 worth of crack.
What a great
You
answer,
feel
because it's
so
so true. What a
Yeah.
great answer.
For sure. And like above all else, I think that my approach to my career, to my life, to everything, I'm just a fucking like a pedigree, full-blooded attention whore. You know, that's just my deal. I'm just geared that way. Like, look at me, and remember me. You know, and I just wanted to live I just wanted to be remembered. And so it wasn't even really about like the money, you know, it was just like, when I'm dead, I want to still fucking matter, you know? And it was about like just living my life in a way that would be notable, that would be memorable, so that I could have a book, you know? It's like, and I got a book. I want to say too that my book, it's a New York Times bestseller, and it has an average customer rating on Amazon of 5 fucking stars. So like, it's like probably like, you know, it's my best shit is my book. And on my website, stevo.com, I fucking autograph every single one. Like that's the only place to get autographed copies of my book. and I make every signature look like a dick shooting a big load of cum. Because the O is Steve O, and then the O is just a big dickhead.
They ought to have a statue of you at Ringling Circus Bros. I mean, you got to be worshipped over there.
Dude, they fucking closed it down after my class. I graduated in the final class, and I went on to become this like animal rights dude. So like they had before and then they shut down the whole circus. The Ringling Brothers is no more. And before that happened, they had some big gala event. Somebody asked me to make a video for just to play in front of like everybody. And I fucking went in on the owner of the circus. I was like, hey dude, it's me, dude. Like Steve-O. I was like, people always ask me, does the Ringling Brothers circus abuse animals? And you know what I tell them? Of course they do. Look how they treat their people.
It's amazing me. That's what leads into when you did this SeaWorld stunt and you climb up a 150-foot crane. The funniest part about it, you come up with this whale. Okay, and you go climbing up there. You got the SWAT team. Everybody's trying to get you. You're nowhere near SeaWorld. Folks, stay right with us here. We just interrupt the Brilliantly Dumb show to let you know that we are presented by Manscaped. Fellas, get that summer bod ready to rock and roll. The beaches are open, the sun is shining, and the bushes must be tamed. Manscaped is here to ensure your post-quarantine body is ready for the wild. Manscaped is dedicated to helping you level up your full body grooming game. Folks, starting now, get 20% off and free shipping using promo code BROBIBLE at manscaped.com. BROBIBLE. Again, that's 20% off and free shipping using promo code BROBIBLE at manscaped.com. Folks, protect the nuts, protect the chest, protect your ball sack today with Manscaped.
And here's what I did this whole thing to let everybody know about is this fucking, it's called Gnarly, right? And this is the act that I started putting together after I filmed my first comedy special, which I did for Showtime. And I was sure that this fucking special that I did for Showtime was going to shut up any haters, that they were going to be like, oh, look, Steve-O, he's a fucking established stand-up comedian now. He's got a comedy special. Let's all respect him. And I'm telling you, dude, that fucking special came out on Showtime, and it fucking faded into fucking wherever it fucking faded, and my life didn't change, and I was just pissed. So I doubled down, and when I put this new act together, I was like, you know what, already, like the absurd and fucking ridiculous stories that I'm telling, which are all 100% true, in this new stand-up comedy act, which I toured the fucking world with, I was like, man, there's a common thread to these stories I'm telling, which is that for the most part, they were all things that happened on camera. So, holy shit, what if I got goosebumps, dude? I said, what if I fucking make my next comedy special full-on multimedia? So I'm telling these crazy stories, but I got the fucking footage edited in with all the jokes and everything, so you actually see that shit happening. Because here's a spoiler: most stand-up comedians tell stories which aren't even fucking true, and in my case, they're 100% true. So like you actually
got the footage to prove it.
Yeah. Totally. My head exploded on this idea, and I was just like, oh my God. So what I did was I start taping my shows while on the tour. I'm taping it, and I'm coming home, and I'm not fucking relaxing. I'm just sitting there fucking hunkered down at the computer, editing in all the footage, and I'm like, Jesus, it works. It works so well. And then I got kind of like, okay, it's great, but like, this is old shit, you know? Like, it's funny. It's like fucking insane. But let me let every bit in the act be like, okay, that's the bit, but then let it inspire something that just raises the fucking bar for that. So it's like there's a bit, and then there's a new bit, and then there's the story continues, and then I just started filming fucked up ass shit to plug in to every bit. and so then like I'm filming. I ended up the grand finale with skin grafts on 15% of my body because I got so fucking burned.
I saw that.
I got so fucking burned for it. And then and I'm like, dude, I got the ender. I got the fucking, it just all worked so well. And then I wanted to film the opening sequence. So I'm like, I just somehow talked the Jackass guys, all of them, to get together and fucking duct tape me to the side of a truck, right? A billboard truck, like the kind that drives around Las Vegas.
Right.
And Knoxville's hitting baseballs at my head so hard. I'm just like, in hindsight, I'm like, what was he thinking? What the fuck was he thinking? Those baseballs, fucking, he hit baseballs at me way harder than makes any sense. You got all the other Jackass guys saying, hey, stop, too gnarly. No, cut it out, stop. They're trying to call it off.
Is there any, I mean, does this stuff before you do it, does it keep you up at night? Is there any fear involved whatsoever? Or are you just running on pure adrenaline and at the time, drugs?
Well, not drugs. And yeah, dude, I get nervous, man. I had one over the weekend, this past weekend, that I was fucking legit nervous about. I had a fucking medical professional inject anesthesia into my spinal cavity so that my legs would become paralyzed while I was in full sprint.
When you were doing it, back when you were doing it with Jackass, what's amazing is you would think he has to be on drugs to be doing this stuff. But now since you've been sober, you're still doing crazy shit.
Yeah.
So it's almost like that's not even true.
Well, I never did stunts because I was loaded,
Right.
per se. There were certain things that happened because I was loaded, granted, but the motivation for the behavior was never, I'm loaded, so I'm gonna, it was just because I'm an attention whore. And now I'm just a sober attention whore. It's just that simple. And fuck. So dude, I finished this gnarly special, and the opening is just symbolic, man. I got all the Jackass guys duct taped me to the side of a billboard truck, hit baseballs at me way too hard, and then you see that it's like they send me off in this beautiful symbolic thing, like all the guys, and then off I go, duct taped to the side of my fucking billboard truck, which promotes the special, and I'm flying down the highway. It's just this beautiful thing. It's like where the guys send me off all on my own, and the truck, you see it just flying down the highway, hundreds of miles
Off
through
into the
mountains,
sunset.
through snow. Well, no, to the theater where the fucking special got taped. It's like this beautiful symbolism, and dude, that, like, from start to finish, I couldn't be more fucking thrilled with how this came out, and I invested like to get it done. Just to get it shot, it was over $250,000. I've never spent that fucking much money on shit ever in my life, except my house, right? Like my house counts.
Understandable.
Right. But other than that, nothing comes close to anything that I've spent that much fucking money on. And I stand by every fucking penny of it. Now then, to get to this point where I was able to put it out, now I'm up to $300,000 because with all the expenses of just getting it out.
Right.
And here's the ass kicker. I thought, dude, this is undeniable. And I'd still think it's undeniable. But dude, everywhere that could have put it out, given how explicit it is, I swallow a man's load in the fucking special. I'd completely swallow a full load of my buddy's cum. And, there's that, I might get fucked by an elk.
Just another day at the office, Steve. Another day at the office.
There's a lot. There's a lot in there that is legitimately explicit, but that doesn't mean that fucking like Netflix couldn't have run it. They could. I know they could have, and their fucking position on it was that they're comedy snobs and that they don't view Steve-O as a prestigious true stand-up comedian. And I'm like, all right, well. This is something that's never been fucking done. This is something you don't want it? Okay, you fucking assholes. You fucking
Good for you, and you stick it right back to him.
Well, right, man. And I just didn't let it I didn't let it stop me. I just figured it out how to build it into my website, and that's what I fucking did. And in hindsight, I want to view it as a blessing. It's exactly like in the HBO series, The Defiant Ones, about Dr. Dre and Jimmy Iovine. Dr. Dre says in that shit that when he made The Chronic, that he brought his album, The Chronic, to every fucking record label, and every record label rejected it. And he was like, you know what? Fuck that, dude. This shit is dope. And I think that was why he started his own record label. I'm not sure.
But boy, did that work out for him.
Right. And so I'm sitting here saying, all right, fuck them. And I'm just going to do it. I'm going to start my own deal. And like, I really think they fucked up, man, because I could have been sending everybody to their shit. Right. I could have been sending everybody to their shit. Like my Instagram this morning
up to 5 million right now.
Yeah, I got over 5 million this morning, dude. I'm super stoked. Like combined total, it's over 24 million. So I have the ability to promote my own shit, and I don't want to pat myself on the back too much because I just got started. But in a little over 2 weeks, I've generated just over $180,000 with my gnarly special, and so I'm on my way to getting back the 300,000.
And you're early in the ball game too.
I'm pretty early in the ball game, and I just want I would love it if everybody who's watching this can just help me to just get a fucking fat middle finger to those fucking stupid fuck-faced assholes.
We're gonna make damn sure you get that fat middle finger. I can guarantee you that. I'll do everything in my power.
I love it.
Are you amazed? In all honesty, are you amazed that you're still alive, Steve-O? Do you look back at some of the stuff and just say, how am I here now? I'm coming out with this special. How am I still here with some of the shit that you've done?
100%. 100%, man. Like, I don't even have an answer. Like, I mean, in the beginning, when I was that kid, fucking dropping out, failing out, getting kicked out at the University of Miami, and I'm like, I'm gonna be a rad, famous stuntman, and everybody felt sorry for me. I didn't fucking think I was gonna pull it off back then. I felt sorry for me too. I felt sorry for me too, man. I knew, the only thing I knew at that time was that it was physically impossible for me to go to class. I couldn't do it. I just didn't have the strength to muster, to bring myself to go to those fucking classes. I didn't have the ability to keep a job. Like, I had been fired from every fucking job, every job that didn't just involve just showing up and being an asshole and an attention whore. I've been fired from every job I ever had. I've been fired on day one. I've been fired on day two. I've been fired from jobs for every number of days. Like, I knew I could not go to school. I could not keep a job. I lacked the survival skills to make it in the real world, like on every level. I felt that I was going to die, like, miserably, having failed at life. And before that happened, like a fucking caveman trying to etch stick figures on the wall so that they can be seen after that caveman perishes, I was just urgently doing the dumbest shit I possibly could to document it with the video camera, because I knew that footage would outlive me. And that was really where it was at. I was like, I'm not going to live very long. It's going to be bad, but I'm going to fucking have my little message in a bottle. And that was what the video camera was rolling. It was loading that message in the bottle to fucking have it discovered after I died.
I got to tell you, Steve, boy, have you done that too. And I think you've really accomplished that. I really want to help you give this middle finger to Netflix. And again, folks, Guy's got a long day ahead of him. Check out Gnarly on Stevo.com, podcast Stevo's Wild Ride. Before we close, I got to ask you one thing, Stevo.
Right here, I want to say this too.
Go
that
for
I
it.
feel so confident in what I'm doing with this. Like the way that I've got it built into my site, like with the rental. I'm not doing like fucking iTunes where you rent it for 2 days. You get it for 30 days.
Right.
30 days. And then what they're doing on iTunes since the pandemic, all the new release movies, to rent it for 48 hours, it costs $19.99. Like, I couldn't even believe it. I was like, wait, what? And that's what they're doing. But I'm giving it to you for 30 days for only $9.99. And I swear by what I did. And I'm on a fucking mission creating goodwill, happy customers. It's you buy it once and that's it. There's none of this fucking subscription shady bullshit. It's just you buy it once, and then when I come out with my next fucking thing, which will have my spine getting injected and me blowing a load while I'm falling out of a fucking airplane with a dude strapped on my back and all that. Like, when I come out with my next project, I'm gonna have a whole army of really fucking happy customers that are going to be ready to buy the next fucking thing. And I'm going to have the integrity for only delivering quality ass shit, because this fucking thing's the crime.
Netflix will be begging to get that footage under their belt, under their umbrella of you going out of a helicopter, blowing your load.
Yeah, skyjacking. It was
Steve, let me ask you one thing, okay?
Yeah, sure.
You tell a story of you and Mike Tyson at a party, and you and Mike Tyson are railing cocaine in a bathroom at a party. You guys don't leave that bathroom for 2 hours straight. Am I wrong?
Just 2 to 3 hours, I would say. Yeah, at least 2 hours.
What is that conversation like? What takes place in that conversation?
It was crazy. It was some crazy shit. And then, do you know that after that, the next time I saw Mike Tyson was when we were locked up together in a psychiatric ward.
This is fascinating. Yep.
And then while we're in the psychiatric ward, I'm begging him to let me run into his fist with my face. And he won't do it, but then we're on the Charlie Sheen roast and we do it. And dude, like, the way that story is in the Gnarly special, and you see it happen. And the thing was that you also see Bam break my nose, which happened on the filming for the third Jackass movie. And I just let it fucking heal crooked. I had a fucking crooked nose for like I don't know, a year and a half. And then when I run into Mike Tyson's fist, you see I broke the fucking shit out of it, and some dude cruises up. He's like, yo, I'm a kung fu instructor. I got you. And he fucking on the spot at the Charlie Sheen roast, he sets it straight. And so, like, problem solved. I got a fucking Mike Tyson kung fu nose job, dude. And my shit's fixed. And dude, I love that all comes together in this synchronistic way, dude, in the Gnarly special. And as with the whole fucking thing, this whole absurd act, you see everything happen. There's no fucking, it's not fucking an asshole talking into a mic for the whole time. Like, you're watching that shit happen. And like, if you weren't watching it happen, you wouldn't fucking believe that it was even remotely true.
And what's great is that's what we want from you, and that's what you've given us.
Yeah, well, I'm stoked, man.
Well, Steve, you have laid it all out on the line for us. It's time we do it for you. Folks, go check it out. The Gnarly Comedy Special on Stevo.com. Dude, you're awesome.
Hey, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much.
Stay safe, all right? Don't go get yourself killed, all right? Stay safe out there.
Dude, you just watch. I predict that by this time next week, I will have been arrested again.
I don't doubt you. We're at the point now where if you say you're going to get arrested, you're going to get arrested.
I'm pretty sure I have a strong chance.
Just make sure you got a good lawyer. Your lawyer's got to be filthy rich by now.
Hey, brother, thank you so much, man.
You're the best, brother. You take care.
Hey, for sure. You too.
I got news for you, Grace. I if every podcast guest was like Steve-O, the podcast world would truly be even more of a spectacular place than it already is. I mean, that's just, look, again, the guy is just crazy. He will be the first to tell you that. but he's also a really great guy. I mean, he really is. I was having so much damn fun with the guy. And he had a busy day. He has a long day, couple different interviews that he was doing throughout that day. So unfortunately, we had to get going. I know I always reference Howard Stern, but here's the beauty of getting to a level like Howard Stern, who's just the best in the business, or the Joe Rogans in the world. You get these people on, and they're having so much fun with them that if they want to go 4 hours with them, they can. Stern won't do that. Joe Rogan will. You could go 2 hours, 3 hours with these guys, and you can. And they do, and they have so much fun, and the guests going on know damn well what they're getting into, and they know that they need to be at their best because the show is viewed by so many and just so high up there in regards to ratings and all of that stuff. So you want to be at your best. When you're first starting off and, getting going, getting like we are, you have a certain time frame that you got to use, that you got to make the most. I mean, I could have gone 2 hours with Steve. I could have just kept going. I had a lot more in the tank. Just a great guy, but and that's what you want to get to, the level of where the guys come on and there is no time limit. Your show's that big, they're that comfortable to where you're just going to let it rip. You have no other choice. Rogans and Sterns of the world, they'll go as long as they want to go, and they're going to get their absolute best. Now we're at a point where you got to kind of earn the respect out of the guests that you have on for the first 5-10 minutes, where they're kind of like feeling you out. So you got to get them comfortable and get them to where they're going to then be at their best. And you have about 5-10 minutes to do that with the time frame that you have to get the best out of the interview. So I enjoy that process. I really do. And Steve-O is just as good as they come as we continue on the grind here for the Brilliantly Dumb Show, just to keep this thing going to the top. I mean, Steve-O is the guest that can do it. Folks, we got another good guest coming on Friday. Tyler Cameron from The Bachelorette. Girls just love this man. I mean, The Bachelorette was just absolutely huge. His season was one of the biggest seasons. He was the runner-up in The Bachelorette, just an absolute stud from Jupiter, Florida, which is where my parents reside. So that's something in common right there. We bring him on Friday. The guests keep rolling in. Then we switch them back to our audio like we normally do this dance on the ones and twos. Folks, that was episode 86. The Brilliantly Dumb Show. We see you for episode 87 coming Friday. Let's keep this train just chugging right along here on the Brilliantly Dumb Show, folks. You take care now.